What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the next episode of Arena Goat Talk. I'm your host, EJ Burt. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, and share, and follow and all that good stuff. On this next episode, I have Arena Bowl MVP, All Ironman, Mr. Willis Marshall. How you doing today?
I'm good, my brother. I'm good. I appreciate you having me on, man. It's an honor. I love the work you're doing, man. For real, it's a good look. So, yeah, one of my fellow brothers I used to battle against, but great off the field. So I appreciate you having me on, man, for sure.
Those were some good times.
Oh, definitely good times, brother. Some of those memories keep me going throughout my day as we speak. You know what I mean? Seriously, that's gospel.
Definitely. So let's get into your story. So, let's start with where you from.
So born and raised in Detroit, Michigan. Yep, born and raised Detroit, Michigan. 7 Mile in Greenfield, West Side Detroit. Went to Brother Rice High School in Detroit, Michigan. Brother Rice is we're pretty popular nationwide as far as the history of our program. From Michigan for sure. My high school coaches at the time, the Wayne is high school coach when he retired from football in the state of Michigan. So, had a really good foundation there. His name is Alfred Costa, was the head coach. After high school, left there and went to Youngstown State, played for Jim Tressel. I'll say this really briefly. When it came to my journey in regards to football, my dad, as far as Little League, is probably the best coach I've ever had. Obviously, dad, life, football. My high school coach was a great coach, great man, great mentor as well. And then Youngstown State, I played for Jim Tressel, 93 through 97. Was blessed enough to win 3 national championships at Youngstown State with Coach Tressel. And again, another great man, great teacher, great football coach, but a better man. And so I was pretty blessed to have 3 good guys and great men, not just football coaches, in those developmental years, on my journey.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. So coming up, what position, were you in your early years? Were you always receiver, always DB?
It's funny because, and I'm not even sure if they still do this, bro. But coming up, I was with Little League. It's funny. I played running back and linebacker because I was thick, always kind of stocky, but athlete, right? And then in high school, I played running back, DB, and receiver. And so we would be our head coach was pretty smart. He was an offensive guru, so he would have me at slot, and then sometimes we go to wishbone. We go to wishbone. He put me back there in the wishbone. And so that's how, this is kind of how it all plays into arena, to be honest with you, because I played it all. And then obviously defensive back. And to my point, when I got recruited coming out of high school, and this is why I said I'm not sure if they do it, I got recruited as an athlete. And so I'm not sure if they even labeled them as athletes anymore. It was, sometimes I see positions, but it was because I did both well. I was an athlete. And then kick returner, obviously returning kicks and so on and so forth. So when I got recruited to Youngstown State, they actually recruited me as a DB. They recruited me as a DB. And to be honest with you, I was targeting to go to Arizona State, but they were saying they were going to redshirt me. Pat Tillman, rest in peace, Pat Tillman. He's one of the guys that was talking to me and persuading me to come to Arizona State back in the day. They had the Desert Swarm defense and so on and so forth. But I didn't want to go that far from Detroit just to get redshirted. I thought I could play right away. Ended up going to Youngstown State and still getting redshirted, but it was probably the best thing that happened to me because Youngstown was good as well, and we had a really good secondary. So that next year, they switched into receiver because they saw in practice I was able to do both really well, and there was a need at receiver, and that's kind of history in regards to before I became professional.
Mm-hmm. So, kind of speak to your development. Through your high school years, leading into your college years, as a player, as a man, like your motivation, things like that.
So for me, family, we have everything I do is familiar. That's my motivation. My parents, we have a competitor. I have 2 other brothers. They both played ball. I'm the oldest, but we were competitive. Everything was competitive. But at the same time, though, me and my brothers, we would tussle, but we walked outside the door, somebody challenged us. So it was always that, that bravado of we're gonna compete, but we family, we gonna stick as glue, right? So that's my fuel. Making my mama proud. It sounds cliche, making my dad proud, but my last name is Marshall, and when they see that on the back and they stand smiling, that's everything for me. I don't want a nickel. They've done it. No, I didn't need to have Jordans and whatever. We couldn't afford Jordans anyway back in the day, but I had cleats. You know what I'm saying? To this day, I got some cleats that my mom bought me in college that I wear at practice. The big toe about to come out, but I still rock them because it's nostalgia, right? So my point is familiar, bro. For real, the big toe about to come out. But I'm gonna rock them for one more year on this field, and then throw them away. But or probably bronze them like we do baby shoes. But yeah, man. So the coach wise, we worked. I was doing dips in the laundry room with my dad. He was an athlete in school and college. He went to a smaller school, but he kept us right. But then also too, I probably should have led with this. My faith, faith, then family. My faith is the foundation. I believe. In my mind, I was telling some kids the other day, in my mind, I'm 6'4", 260. But that's because of my faith, man. Like, honestly. And I'm not gonna go too deep dive in that, but it's just, I love God, and I believe he's always shown me he'll never let me down. So when I went and played, I played reckless. I played as if, like I said, I was 6'4", 260. And that's how I prepared from a young age on. And kind of where that comes from is my mom telling me, hey, when we left these streets or left outside this house, don't let anything happen to your brothers, right? When you go to the park. So I had to get over fear at an early age in Detroit in the 80s, the crack era. I had to get over fear real quick and be able to walk around. Like I said, I'm only 5'10" now, so it's not like I was, shrunk. So I had to get over that real quick, that fear, and people trying you. So that all played in a part of me, my faith, what I believe in. God got my back, my family, make sure everything is good. Football is easy. Oh, this football is nothing. I'm gonna go out here. I can hit somebody as hard as I want and not get in trouble for it. Oh yeah, I love this. Let's go.
that was always my favorite speech to give. Like, man, you better enjoy this football because this is the only place that you can try to knock somebody out and you don't go to jail for it.
You ain't go to jail for it, bro. For real. You ain't go to jail for it. Truth. That's what I tell guys, man. Let your frustration out in the field. That's why I love the sport. Let it out in the field, man. For real. Let that boy out in the field. Definitely, bro.
So when you got to Youngstown, kind of touch on your development, through those years, as a man and as a football player.
So I had to grow up early. I had my oldest son at 19. So my redshirt freshman year, my oldest son was coming into this world. And it was one of those things where it's not like now where you have NIL and so on and so forth. We really can only work in the summertime. And you might get a little bit of money here and there if you have like a Pell Grant or something like that. But my thing is, it's nothing to be able to raise a child. So, I had a hard choice to make. I was at 11 sport, and my family told me, stick with it. You're smart, get your education. We'll help out, with your son, which is, I love my parents, love my family. But that made me grow up real quick. It was almost like overnight when I found out that I was having a child. I had to say, okay, I'm 18, 19 years old, but what's going to be my ticket? Yeah, I got a brain, but God gave me a gift. So how bad do I really want this football thing? How bad do I really want it? And now I had another fuel lighting this fire, or the more charcoal, I should say, in this engine to propel me to try to, get to where I want to go. So, college was good. Development wise, from a maturity standpoint, I grew up real quick. Because I had something else to play for, right? Another mouth to feed. And eventually I knew that my brain for sure would get it done, obviously in the boardroom, but I wanted to let this God-given talent do that as well. So I put the work in, man. I mean, we were good. Like I said, we won a national championship in 93, my freshman year. I got redshirted. We beat Marshall that year. In 94, we beat Boise State in the national championship. That was my redshirt freshman year. We beat Boise State. And then my senior year, we played McNeese State And we had lost 95, 96. In 97, we made it back to the playoffs. We were underdog. Beat Villanova. I'm not sure if you remember, they had the Finneran brothers, the two twins. Tall, see, one of them played for the Bears at one time. He ended up getting the Walter Payton Award, which is like the Heisman Division I AA. Down 21-0 to them. I'll block a kick, scoop it, score it. Down 21-7, we end up rallying, coming back in the second round of the playoffs, right? They were the number one team in the country. The reason I bring that story up, and the reason it's such a highlight, the power of belief. I told my coach, bro, I told him that week, watching film and doing film study, just how locked in I am by my senior year to film study, right? I know if I get to the league, they always talk about film study. So I've been practicing, really on my film game. I used to hate watching film freshman year, sophomore year. I'm dozing off. I'm in the room dozing off. But by the time my senior year, I'm so locked in on the pump block team. I tell my coach, let's do A, B, and C. I'm going to get us one. Sure enough, the second time we went out there, I was able to get it. But that was kind of the, how locked in I was. And I turned the tide of that game. We went on to beat McNeese State in the national championship, 2 rounds later, my senior year. So that development was huge. Tressel was very, very big on accountability. Very big on accountability. And I got a funny story to tell you about that if you want to hear it really quick. Yeah, so my roommates are all from Florida, right? They're all from Florida. Miami is now my third home pretty much since college. My roommates from Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Opelika, Carroll City, Broward, as well as Dade County. So I'm seeing Miami, not just South Beach. I'm getting to see the city, right? So I fell in love with it. Who doesn't fall in love with Miami, especially at a young age, 2019, 2021. Tressel tells me my freshman year, he's big on being on time. You guys go to spring break, come back, have a good time. So I was already late to a meeting maybe earlier that year just from waking up late, hanging out too late, waking up late, college freshman, some young stuff, right? Some young shit. So the next time it happened, he said it was consequences. So I didn't know what they were. So we come back from Miami. We drove there and drive back. So we purposely didn't leave on time because we was having too much fun. And we said, hour late, coach ain't gonna be mad. He know we was on the road. This is Coach Tressel. Just some real deal. We get back, man. He tells everybody who was late, whether it was 1 minute, an hour. We were about an hour and 10 minutes late to meet him after the meeting by the weight room. So we go down to the weight room. We chilling by the weight room. I'm thinking he's about to make us lift and run, make us throw up, all that stuff. I'm like, I'm cool with it. I'm in shape. Not a big deal. He said, you guys see all these mats on the floor? If you remember back to weight room, mats were like foam puzzle pieces. You know what I mean? So and our weight room is like a typical D1 college weight room. It's huge. You know what I mean? It's huge. He says, some of these are coming apart because it's the wear and tear, the weights. He said, I want you guys have 24 hours. He said, I'm going to call your parents, let them know that if all these puzzle pieces aren't back together, right, in 24 hours, you guys are going to lose your scholarships. And so, well, that's not a big deal. We can get this done. He's like, no, you have to take every piece of equipment out the weight room in order to put the puzzle pieces back properly. No. No. Listen, he came and gave us pizza. Checked on us like 5 in the morning. You know what I mean? We slept for like 40 minutes. We was work. We had, literally take every piece of weight. It was Navy SEAL, bro, like real deal. But I knew there was no way my mom, I could call her and say, hey, I lost my scholarship. For real. That was my fear. They say, fear your parents, bro. But accountability, and that's what it was. It was accountability. So, he was a rearing man. So I appreciate that, and I got it. For real, I got it. Especially when you get to the league, like Coach say, you want a window or aisle seat, right? So.
Yeah, I can imagine you seeing it like, what? I got to get all the way. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this.
Oh, bro.
Crazy.
6 of us. But we bonded though. It was a brother. We bonded. We got it done. We got it done with literally 38 minutes to spare. 38 minutes to spare. 38 minutes to spare. We got it done though. For real. Even sprayed the mirrors with Windex and cleaned them off.
That's a learn.
Lesson learned. I didn't miss. I was on time for every meeting. Real deal.
So after you that lesson and taking those lessons and moving on, kind of touch on, you're about to graduate, your pro prospects, and kind of that next step in your journey.
So after school, like I said, we won the national championship that year. But again, when I came out, 5'10", 5'9" receivers weren't really popular. They were looking for the 6'3", 6'4". There weren't many Wes Welkers and, things of that nature. I'm on St. Ross. There's not, St. Brown rather. There weren't many of those guys. But my point is, I can get the ball across the goal line. So my hired an agent. He told me, hey, you'll probably be a free agent or a late round draft pick. You got film. We weren't a huge passing team, but I did a lot. I did punt block, I did kick return, punt return. So all around numbers, right? So my best compliment I ever got was, he's a football player. He can play the game. So in my mind, I thought that would carry me, but I didn't want to take a chance of not getting drafted. And I had a lot of Canadian CFL teams already trying to get at me. And so I said, okay, well, I can go over there and make a guaranteed $200,000, first year, make a team over there. It's professional football, get some film. But at least to my point, I had a mouth to feed. I had a son. So I didn't want to take a chance of going to an NFL team and just being, as my agent said, you'll probably just be camp bait. Somebody go around and just, get beat up on. You'll be able to showcase your talents. And this is just kind of fast forward. Everything happened for a reason. Because I've won everywhere, bro. I've been high school state championship, college 3, Arena Bowl, Canadian CFL Grey Cup my first year. But one of my biggest regrets, and I'll get to why maybe later, is maybe not taking that chance and going to a NFL training camp when I had a chance out of high school. Because fast forward, I did when I got to Canada. I didn't realize that there was only 37 people on the team. They keep. Mind you, Calgary Stampeders had just went to the Grey Cup the year before and lost, but they already had a good team. So all their veterans were coming back. So that's Canada plays with 12 people, remember? So you have 24 people that were there last year already, plus whoever's coming back that was on team. So not only that, you're competing not against all those, but just the American spots. So you might have 70 people in training camp, 80, 75 people in training camp. 45 Americans, they're literally competing for 18 spots. Like 18 spots. Like for real. And so me and my boy looked at each other. It's ironic, one of my little league and one of my best friends from my day ones, he graduated from Western Michigan, same year as me, but he got invited to Calgary training camp, so we was roommates. So we literally, bro, he's a DB. So we back to back. We had people leaving. Like, I ain't gonna make a team, they already good. That's not the mindset I came in. This is football. They might have to kick me out. So we both balled out, made the team. Again, the grind, made the team, balled out. But I say to my point, I went to Youngstown State, and this is God's honest truth about why I said I should have went to the NFL training camp. Because in CFL, I was competing against guys that went to Miami, LSU, Texas, Michigan. And in my mind, I knew we were good at Youngstown State. Like, for example, Ohio State didn't want to play us back in the day because they had too much to lose, but we were already a good program. That's how Tressel ended up getting to Ohio State because, he had won so much at Youngstown. But my point is, I had a younger mindset of, well, maybe I will be camp bait, and these guys are maybe a step faster, a little bit better. And I don't want to take that chance. That little seed of doubt, bro. But everything else worked out. I was able to, like I said, have a good career, 12-year professional career, ultimately. And God only knows, He might have been saving me from something, but at the same time, that's probably one of my biggest regrets because I got 4, 5, 6 workouts through my arena football career. The Lions, the Buffalo Bills, the Chargers, the 49ers, a few other teams brought me in, but they never gave me an opportunity in training camp to put those pads on. It was just the measurables, run, quickness. They'll bring a vet in, and there came a point in time where, the arena was taking care of my family well enough to where I just focused on that. But that's probably one of the biggest regrets, man, is not taking that chance just to see and them telling me no first, as opposed to trying to kick that door in, the rest of my arena football career.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can imagine you kind of kind of went through the same struggle I did, because when I had my chance at the NFL, same situation. I'm 6. I always say 6'2", but the NFL comes along and they say, "Oh, you're 6'1 3/4," and there was no short defensive ends. You had to be 6'4", 6'5", or taller, and they just didn't give those short guys a chance. And the year after, that's when Dwight Freeney kind of broke that mold, and all of a sudden, everybody wanted the short guys. But I missed my window.
Yeah. Trust me, brother. I know. I missed my window too. I said the same thing. I told my mom the other day, I said, I'm about to be the 50-year-old rookie. Like, for real, because I feel like I missed my window. Even with the NIL stuff nowadays, I have family that's in college. Both of my nephews, one went to Michigan, but he's at Kansas now, plays guard, starts at guard for Kansas. My other one plays quarterback for Kansas, University of Kansas. But I say that to say I watch how this whole, through their friends and their teammates that have gone to Division I schools, man, the whole landscape nowadays, bro, you have agents talking to high school kids because in a year, they're about to get money. My high school there, we coach at, my youngest brother's the head coach for a high school out here in Detroit. So we won a state championship a couple of years ago. We beat the kid that Bryce Underwood, Michigan's quarterback, right? Okay. He had won 2 state championships in a row. But this kid just got $10 million. I mean, I know I'm a great kid, great family, but $10 million. Can you imagine that as a freshman in college?
Yeah, you had to put that away. At that age, you can't let me touch $1 million.
Oh man, and that's what my dad said. Maybe he said God's not gonna give somebody $1 million to go to the candy store as a kid. So, just maybe you wasn't ready for it. I was like, I don't want to hear that. I was ready, but I don't want to hear that. Yeah, I'm ready to go. Let's go. Like, for real. Yeah, everything had a reason, brother. My career was blessed. And I think everything made it great for a good arena football career. That being out both ways was huge. I love that. Especially at the highest level, I guess, to do that, that was big.
Definitely. So, speaking of arena, kind of touch on when you first got, you saw the game, you got a chance to fill out the game. Like, what was your initial reaction and thought of arena football?
So, I was a little biased when I saw it at first on TV before I went to Canada, and I'll say. Bias meaning that I didn't realize the talent level was as good as it was, and thinking that it's NFL, CFL, the arena. All I know is professional football. It's on TV. I knew some people that play. I just didn't think the overall talent level when we play, especially in the era we played, was as good as it was. And when I got to actually try, left from Canada, came home, tried out for a couple of teams. Lions brought me in. So from Canada, I'm thinking about to get signed with the Lions. My hometown team, they ended up not signing me, so I missed the window to go back to Canada. So I went to arena football. Sparky McEwen was our OC. He's the head coach at Davenport University now. But he brought me in on a workout. Me and my boy drove up to Detroit to Grand Rapids, man, 2001. And I didn't really, I'm thinking it's arena football. I was in shape, but I hung out the night before a little bit. Stayed up late. We drove up 2 hours. Not that I didn't take it serious, but didn't run a good 40 time. My 40 time wasn't that big, that good, but my shuttle was great. My vert was great. My 101s and all that. I did the thing. So they ended up offering me a contract, signing me right to training camp. So I said, It's like, damn, okay. So I got to practice and got a chance to learn the game. And I love the fact that it was I just felt like I was a kid again. We was in the backyard. All right, I'll score on you or you score on me. All right, now it's my turn. You got to check me. You know what I mean? Now you got to check me. So, I was like, yes, I love it, especially at a competitive level. And it was made for me. It was perfect because my attributes, it fit. And I had fun doing it. And then, like I said, that first year, we won arena football, won arena ball. It's kind of weird because my first year, a lot of places, my first year in high school, we won state championship. My first year in college, we won the national championship. First year in Canada, we won the Grey Cup. First year in arena football, we won arena ball. which one arena would be Nashville Cats, and my boy, rest his soul, passed away. D-Ham, passed away.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, passed, rest his soul. So, yeah, but the game was fun, man. I mean, I love the game. It catching the ball at the net. Once I mastered that, I mean, it was like, oh man, and that's kind of like you have to be comfortable doing that. Turning your back to a gang of y'all coming down like full speed. Your side's ready to kill me, you know what I mean? So you got to be able to be comfortable, get that ball and make a move, like for real. So when you think about it, it sounds crazy, but it's you got to be fearless, right? Like I said, I say pray up. No, man.
Yeah.
Bro. For real.
Definitely. That's how I chase you trying to feel it off that net, trying to get you as soon as you turn around.
Oh man, as soon as you turn around, if that front man that's protecting you don't do his job, oh man, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. That's why you gotta rely on that person, bro. Rely on that person. But yeah, I ended up going to Grand Rapids, man, and there 3 years. Left Grand Rapids and went to Denver, Colorado. Signed me. That was probably a big time. That was a free agent, so that was really I made my name in the game. Already had a ring. Grand Rapids, we were good for the next couple of years. Like I said, we had a good team, but everybody kind of outpriced the salary cap they had there for us because we were getting better. So we deserved to get paid pretty much. So I never thought in a million years I would end up in Denver, Colorado. But I'll say, bro, that's probably the best kept secret and best thing that ever happened as far as my career in that regard. As far as living, I love it. Was a gem. I love Denver. And I was shocked because I didn't expect to see people that look like us in Denver, but Denver's super diverse. Sure, at the time the mayor was black, you know what I mean? And, going around and meeting people there, I'm like, oh man, waking up every day to sunshine and mountains, clean air. I mean, the city is super developed, downtowns. I mean, it was a good look. And Elway, man, he laid out the red carpet for you, boy, like for real. He laid the red carpet out. And mind you, at the time, Colorado was a newer team. They only came around. 2004 was their first year. Yeah. Right. 2004 was the first year, and then I'm thinking about 2003 was their first year, and then my first year there, 2004, that was the second year. But he put together a team, man. We went to the semis that my first year there, second year in existence, and lost to Arizona and Hunky Cooper and them. I was so mad, bro. We lost to them by 2 points. I love competing against Hunky. Yeah, I was like, oh man. So, but they had a squad. We lost by a couple points. But then next year, 2005, man, we won the Arena Bowl. We beat Georgia Force, which was a hell of a team. Georgia had a squad.
Yeah. How long did it take for you to really adjust to Arena, or was it like this game is perfect for me? You stepped right in and felt comfortable.
It was kind of like that, man. It was kind of perfect for me. I stepped in and felt comfortable. The biggest adjustment was catching the ball off the net. But once I realized, just timing and things like that, judging the tightness of the net, all those little things, and how the kicker is, being able to catch it off the bar. I mean, it's legit. They say be a professional. Being a professional, stand after practice and have your kicker kick 30 balls to you when you, like you say, I'm not comfortable with it. So I don't like not being comfortable with anything. So I'm gonna stay out here until I'm comfortable with it. And we had a good kicker at the time, and he got off the bar like almost at will. So I had to catch him off the bar balls, which is harder than off the net. So then by the time I was off the net, that was easy. So it was just practice. But the game itself, like football, is football. You put pads on, you hit. I've always been a contact person. I like contact. So that wasn't a big thing. I know it's more closed in. But to your point, I felt like it was perfect for me. I was never a 4-3 guy. I'm 4-5. A good day, maybe a high 4-4. Always been quick, but at the same time, the field's not 100 yards. So I don't have to, understand what I'm saying? I don't have to be a 4-3. I can be a 4-5, and you ain't going to catch me because before you know it, I'm in the end zone. It's only 50 yards. So the game was kind of perfect for my skill set, especially being able to play both ways, and the necessity for a team to keep you on the roster as if you can do both. You know what I mean? Like for real. Can you be Ironman? Can you do this well at a high level enough for us to keep you and win games? Not just average, we can hide you, yeah. you got to be super hella on one side or another, but you can do both well, man. That was huge. And so I just worked the craft, bro. Worked the craft.
Yeah. So, kind of touch on your feeling of the arena bowl in Colorado.
Man, when we in Vegas, yeah, it was. Man, that was my birthday season, brother. When I tell you, I had all my family there. So people don't know this. Some people do, but my cousin played for Georgia Force, Robert Thomas. You probably know Robert. He played fullback linebacker. Used to be the Cowboys. So we had a big family. So we had two grandmothers in the stands, man. Great grandmother, brother. It was loaded. Arena Bowl, first time ever in Vegas. They were good. I love being an underdog. Love hitting them with the chamois. yo. But it was a dream come true, man. In a way, like probably one of the best games I ever played in my life. Probably one of the best games I ever played. And I just, night before, said my prayers. It's kind of a culmination of my career in a way because, I started playing in 98, 2005, so 7 years in. I'm towards the end of the latter parts of my career as opposed to the beginning. Even though I felt good, but it was it was amazing. The feeling was, being in Vegas, just the whole atmosphere it felt like the closest I can get to a Super Bowl outside the Grey Cup, just with as many people. But that Arena Bowl in 2005, and then the way we won, it's such a close game, having to fight it out. It was. Yeah, and then being able to be MVP of the game and Iron Man, that was I don't know how many times, but they gave me Iron Man and MVP, so I was thankful. That's why I say it was kind of like everything I put in all my whole life came to fruition on that day because I had to bring it all out. Kick return, kick off, catching, running, tackling, and they were good. Like I said, y'all, they were good, man. Matter of fact, yeah, then y'all see them in the semis.
Yep, they beat us that year in the sun.
Y'all should have won that game. Y'all had them. You know how I feel. That's how I felt against Arizona the year before. We had them. So, man, I ain't trying to make you feel pain, bro, but I already know. Bro.
That year, I would have felt bad. There's too many years going by. I'm just like, whatever. Hey, it was cool.
You better than me because some losses, man, I still eat up. I'll be like, we should have had that game.
Still have my moments. I still got my moments.
No,
I feel more bad about losing to Tampa. And they ended up winning it all. And then when I was in Chicago, we lost to San Jose, and they ended up winning it all. Them two hurt the most.
Yeah, I already know. It's funny too. I almost ended up in Chicago. Hohensee brought me in for a workout before I went to Grand Rapids. Actually, Hohensee brought me in, and I forgot about this real quick, but he didn't sign me. I had balled out. And I never forget, I told myself, I said, we play Chicago. Anywhere play Chicago, they're going to get the biz. And so what's funny is D Sting and me used to go head up. Every time I play Chicago, me and Sting going at it. To the point where now we good friends. But, but I love competing against Stingley. Stingley was a competitor. Derek Stingley. But my point is, that's my guy, though. He brought it out of me. We had guys that could ball. We had talent out there competing against. So, and just, I tell people all the time, the speed of the game. The speed of the game is why when I did go to these NFL workouts and running routes and things like that, the game slowed down to me. I'm running the out route, and I'm like, damn, where the ball at? I'm on my break of 10, head around. Where the ball at? Oh, okay. I get it. You got a little more time to get it to me. So, adjust, but yeah, man, it was I love that 2005 Arena Bowl, brother. It was one that I think about. I don't watch too many highlights. That's why it was good to see that. But it was it bring back a lot of great nostalgia for real.
Any thoughts of like when they had won? You already talked about the feeling of being a champion, but when they said, "Hey, you're the MVP" and all that. What's kind of thoughts that was going on in your head? Because again, this is only something that you could tell. Not many people can claim being Arena Bowl MVP and everything. So it's great. It'd be great to hear, your take on your feelings when you got to experience that.
First thing, when they announced it and they, said the MVP and gave it to me, and I didn't know, a lot of times you think the quarterback's going to get it, so I really wasn't expecting to get it. I was just happy to win the game. But when they said it, my first thought exactly was, I know my mom's so happy. That was my first thought. I know my mama's so happy right now. And it was kind of like a weight off my shoulder because, I wanted to win. A lot of family there, but I wanted to win that game bad. But my second thought was, okay, now somebody's going to give me a real shot in the NFL. That was my second thought. MVP, Iron Man, they seen the game. I displayed everything I can, returning the ball, catching it, running it. Somebody's going to give me a shot. And that euphoria came through my body like, okay, my agent was there. He had a couple people from the Dolphins were in the building. The guy came to me right afterwards. So my feeling was, now I'm actually getting my shot. This is, like I said, my culmination of everything I've been working for. But at the same time, I was grateful for winning that Arena Bowl, for sure. But I was thinking, okay, now I'll be put in a better position to even help my family even more. And that's what I was thinking. I'm getting a real shot, like a training camp. And it never happened. It never happened. And I still did well in arena football, and, salaries went up and so on and so forth. But again, just being honest with you, that was my exact thoughts. I'm about to get my shot. Shortly after this, I'm going to enjoy this, but I'm going to get back to training because somebody going to say, come on, you need you to run this 40, do whatever. So I'm not going to go crazy. I'm going to go crazy tonight, maybe next couple of days with the family in Vegas. But after that, I'm going to get back on it because somebody going to give me a shot. And I had a couple different agents. I didn't have no bad rap, no police record, nothing like that. But I never got a chance to training camp, fam. It was always come in, work you out, and we'll call you if such and such goes down. But I do know a lot of people say, okay, well, we're looking for somebody 6'1", 6'2", David Boston's of the world,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember David Boston. He remember the year he was a skinny receiver. The next year he came back.
Yeah, looking like RoboCop.
No, come on now.
RoboCop, bro. Seriously, that was my closest shot to getting in the NFL was San Diego because at the time I think he was playing for them and he was out because of injury. He was real big and had some injuries going on, so they didn't know if he was going to be ready to come back in time. They needed to add some more depth in the receiver corps. And the general manager for the Chargers at the time, his son went to Youngstown State, my alma mater, and was my youngest brother, who I told you about coaches high school football. He was the quarterback at Youngstown State. So his son played with my brother, who was the quarterback. And my agent reached out kind of on that kind of connection, like, hey, you can really get this guy a shot. So they gave me a 2-day shot. But again, it was never, I was, after one day, they typically let you go, but they kept me a second day. So I'm like, damn, at least put me on free squad. So I'm excited. But last minute, they bring in some other guy from another practice squad. It's like 6'3", and my agent told me, he wanted to, somebody else came available. They just put on P squad and, height-wise. So, but again, I couldn't get discouraged, just stay the course. And, like I said, I'm still blessed to do what I did for 12 years, man. God looked out, like I said, smart with your money, but at the same time, we all have those things, but I feel like it all worked out. There's no regrets. Like I said, it's too late for that. God bless me. You can be healthy right now. And I did well. So,
Mm-hmm. Definitely. So, fast forward to now. So you say you're coaching high school now?
Yeah, so my youngest brother's a head coach. My old high school brother, Rice. He's first black head coach ever in any sport at the high school. We're, like I said, we're a powerhouse in the state. But he's been over there for 2 years. I coach receivers over there. I do that. That's my volunteer payback to the world. Coaching with my brother, and I love doing it. Like I said, I coach because I love the game. I love being around the boys. And when I mentioned mentoring, a lot of that is talking to these kids, rearing young men. Teaching them through my mistakes and so on and so forth. But what I do full time is I have a rehabilitation company. It's called Mojo Fit. It stands for Making Objectives, Joint Opportunity. So I've been doing this for 2 years before I retired, 2008. I didn't want to be the typical cliche trainer. I didn't have a degree, but I knew I didn't want to, sit behind a desk. I saved enough money from playing ball that I can afford to kind of think about what that was my next step. But 2 years before I retired, I got certifications and a couple of things that kept me healthy throughout my whole career. One of those things was in the water. So Tressel, back in the day when you got injured, ankle, knee, hamstring, he put you in the water and you did aquatic therapy. He was ahead of the game. This is 93. We did aquatic therapy. And my first training camp, I kind of got tackled, had like a medium to high ankle sprain. So I had to get in the water for 3 days. Typically, I don't have high ankle sprains, you out a couple of weeks. I was back on the field in 3.5 days, like practicing. Batted up, get it. So my whole career, recovery and everything, I always got in the water, did the regimen. Pro, the same thing. I've always been in the water and the steam room, right? Stretch, all that, meditation, yoga, but the water. So before I retired, I got more certifications. And then I started my company in Atlanta originally. I played for Atlanta in 2008. Started in Atlanta, and then fast forward, blew it up in Denver, Colorado. And when I came to Detroit, I started Denver, then I moved to Phoenix. So I started the second part in Phoenix. So I'm in Denver, Phoenix, and also Detroit. But in Detroit, where I've kind of created my own lane again, is I work with TBI, so traumatic brain injury patients, as well as substance abuse patients. So the whole thought process is with the substance abuse patients, the water, the therapy, besides them getting in shape, I'm trading one euphoria for another. When they get out the water, they're not thinking about drinking a fifth or tying a rope around their arm, shooting up. They're more reserved, more relaxed. Again, trading one euphoria for another. As we both know, in the water, you were one or two things when you got out the water, if not both, which is sleepy and hungry, right? But you were relaxed, you were joyful. Same with my TBIs, my traumatic brain injury. A lot of them have cognitive problems where their learning is a problem, and being able to be easily distracted when they get out the water. Again, their TBIs from typically car injuries or car accidents, so they're probably disabled as well, right? In some capacity besides mentally. So besides the in shape and the water, you're not putting the buoyancy, you're not putting any weight or stress on your ligaments. But then also when they get out, they're more conducive to being able to learn. So that and being able to get certified, being a black man in this field for 15 years, I can teach now and I can direct. Insurance companies, as long as you dot your I's, cross your T's, they take care of you. But because for them, they want the patient healed. At the same time, they want that person to recover quicker. But as long as they're happy and they're getting recovery, whether it's you and I, TBI, everybody wins. And so at the end of the day, they want somebody that's going to rehabilitate. So I've been doing this now for, like I said, since 2008, just slowly growing it in the business. And yeah, brother, it's recession proof. So I'm blessed for that.
Good. So if anybody would be interested in your services, how can they get in touch with you?
Okay, you can reach me by email at mojofit4@gmail.com. Mojo, that's MOJO, the number 4, mojofit4 at gmail.com. So MOJOFit, the number 4 at gmail.com. You can reach out at 313-848-6148, 313-848-6148, and we can make it happen. I do virtual training as well, virtual rehabilitation, and how that works is whether it's meal prep, whether it's literally going somewhere and me virtually coaching you through the exercise, whether it's the water, whether it's the gym, whether it's your rehabilitation center. We have several ways to do it. And so that's reach out, feel free anytime.
All right, good. So in closing, I always have guys kind of give advice to let's say you're looking back at somebody who's following in your footsteps but kind of discouraged. What would you say to those guys that are they're looking to play pro ball but they're kind of discouraged along their way of not knowing what to do? What would you say to those guys?
I would say the power of belief is real. The power of belief. Bet on you. Bet on you, the individual, the work you put in. The power of belief is real. Doubt. Everybody doubts here and there, but do way more believing than you do doubting and putting that work in. I will say this all the time to people. I said, I tell people, try not to hustle backwards, right? As long as you busting your butt, putting forth the effort, even if you stumble, you're going to stumble on the side of progress because you can put the work in and you learn from it. So you learn how not to do that again, whatever it is that caused you to stumble. But as long as you grind it and you believe, oh, brother, I mean, the power of belief, the minute you start doubting, you got that creep in, everything's going to go downhill. And like I told you early on in my career, I had a small little seed of doubt. And that stopped me from doing something. But at the same time, maybe it did stop. Maybe that was God's intentions for me always to have my career I had, which was a blessed and great career. But my point is, it also fueled me, I think, to have that career because maybe I wouldn't have had the drive I had if it was just given to me early. I had to work for it. And that power of belief and believing that I had that ability to be at the highest level, which like I said, I did play at the highest level in my mind because arena football wasn't for everybody. You know, arena football definitely you had to be a grown man to play that game. Seriously, brother. I mean, the Walls are undefeated. You know, Walls are undefeated. So I believe that my biggest message is belief. Believe in you. Believe in the work you put in. Believe in your faith, whatever it is. Believe in that because it will propel you. I promise you it will propel you. It'll show out in the field. Somebody will catch notice. And law of averages. Keep grinding. Law of averages. It's going to pop. That's the thing. Law of averages, brother, it's going to pop. As long as you keep grinding. The minute you give up, stop doubting, things go downhill. So I would say believe. Believe in yourself, brother. Power of belief is everything.
Good. Appreciate that. Like I said, there's the good thing about having guys like you on. There's somebody that's a younger version of you. That's advice. Somebody who's actually done it. To
Right.
What you say could be exactly what they need to hear.
Yeah, no, I get it, man. I'm hoping so, brother. Like I said, I appreciate you having me on, man. This platform is dope.
Definitely, again appreciate you coming on and sharing your story and giving any tips. Like I said, I think that's gold for guys that are listening in. This is a different angle, because we're a little more accessible than the NFL guy or whatever the case may be. So, some of the things we say can touch a lot. It could hit home a lot better than other people. So I feel like a good niche for all of us to be able to share our story. And I always tell guys, I feel like this is therapy for all of us.
No, it is, man. It feels good talking about it. That's what I said. You got as much time as you need, man. It feels good reminiscing. Because again, I try not to look in the mirror too. Well, I look in the mirror, but I try to look backwards. Because I still got a lot to do in this life. But times you sit down, you kind of reflect, and I got grandkids now. So when something pop on, when my son pops something on, like granddad played ball for real, like they don't believe me. That's crazy, right? I'm laughing, but it feels good, right? It feels good.
So appreciate you coming on and spending your time with me. And I definitely would love to be able to help you out and send people your way, business wise, and love to stay in touch because there's other things that I'd like to do even with this platform to try to help us all to give back to the younger generation.
No, it sounds good. Whatever I can do to help, man, you got me all day.
All right. Sounds good. Appreciate you and good luck with everything. And we'll definitely be in touch.
Right on, bro. Thanks, man.
All right. Appreciate you.
Yep.